Hello and welcome. You tuned to the League Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show, Trackside's premiere preview show as well. No Paul Moida this week. $1 to pick what he's up to. Stephen Hunt, good morning.
Morning. Yes, well, I'd say swinging a club somewhere, but no doubt, hopefully he's back next week for 1,000 Guineas New Zealand Cup, but a big day, first day of the carnival on Saturday.
Yeah, it's exciting. What about last week first? It's been a big, long 7 days, isn't it?
It seems an eternity since last Saturday to what's unfolded to now. Obviously with the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, Oaks Day yesterday at headquarters, but look, the Bold Cat was very impressive, real auspicious stayer in the making. I think it's win number 6 from only 11 starts out of the Patterson stable, winning the Fielding Gold Cup at Trentham. Look, speed rating was 1 left below par, no real knock there, but just on a performance rating, I gave him a performance rating of 93.3, which is around about the mark to be winning a Waikato Cup, a Counties Cup later in the year if they want to go that way. But he just has to be weighted accordingly. He needs to find that horse that's rated in that mid-90s to bring his weight down. He carried 58 on Saturday. That's probably right at the peak to be winning a Waikato Cup. Ideally, he'd be nicely situated at 56, 56 and a half, but that's all bearing on a horse that's rated 95 and above, but will remain to be seen whether a horse nominates and accepts for one of those 2 cup races to where he sits in the weight. So real progressive stayer, the Bold Cat, in terms of weight for age performance, because Robbie was talking about this horse as a progressive weight for age horse in about 12, 18 months. He still needs to improve roughly around about 3 lengths, but definitely a horse on the up. Okay,
and what about Equicade? Equicade got the job done at Pukekohe as well.
Yeah, short price fave. I think it closed around about $1.75, $1.80 from memory. Equicade, look, she improved from what she did first up at Matamata at 1,600 when finishing second in the Legato, just fractionally improved, hitting 2,000 metres on Tuesday at Pukekohe. Again, a horse that's heading towards the Zabeel and will be at the point end of the market when we open futures betting the next week or two is Equicade. And again, just on what she produced at Pukekohe, she needs to improve roughly 1 to 1.5 lengths to be winning a Zabeel if you're looking at it historically and what the winners have done in previous years. So, look, she can do that because she's still on the upward trajectory. So, yeah, real progressive mare, and it's all just weighing up who's going to be in the Zabeel, which horses are going to come back from Australia and target that Group 1 over Christmas, New Year.
Okay, let's head north. Hamilton, say good morning to Brendan Popplewell. Make $1 on the Melbourne Cup, BP. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Yes, was able to make a couple of bucks off the Melbourne Cup, which is always a sweet result, isn't it? If you can make some money coming out of the Melbourne Cup, you're doing well. So, Mark Zahra, what a ride and what a choice. He knew something didn't need to be able to pick that horse without a fight over Gold Trip and delivered it in spades too, did he not, without a fight to go back-to-back from the Caulfield Cup to the Melbourne Cup. What a week in front of us though, because it is our biggest week as we bounce out of what has been an incredible week out of Melbourne. Looking forward to Cup Week, all 3 codes. I think the racing over all 3 codes as well is going to be incredible, and it really does start tomorrow in the 2,000 Guineas with Crescetti, as short as he is, at $1.45.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Serpentine, early crow, well done on that one.
Yeah, let's hope Serpentine's there again next year with a low draw, because we'll be looking for another $6.50 boost, Thad Taylor.
Very good. Look, I believe we have standing by the 5th member, the 5th Beetle of the Leg Up. Aidan Rodley might be there from Melbourne for a big weekend for the Kiwis. Good morning, Aidan.
Morning to you guys too. Yeah, we're out here at Flemington, and of course we get into what is a massive day for the Kiwis, as you speak about Imperatriz, who's been so dominant in those lead-up sprints. She goes around in the champion sprint with a little bit of expectation, although certainly she's just easing a little bit in the market. Maybe the straight track specialist with the James McDonald factor just up against her. Then of course we've got in the Group 2, looking forward to prowess in the Group 1 champions sprint, champion stakes, should I say. We've got Mustang Valley, Pearl of Alsace in the Matriarch Stakes, and of course Ladies Man goes around in the Queen Elizabeth. So plenty to look forward to there on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Imperatriz is the highlight, but Pearl of Alsace has snuck over there, Aidan, and she's been made favourite in a Matriarch, and the 2,000 metres, she'll eat that up.
Absolutely, she will. Might be an opportune time because we've got a special guest come with us this way a little bit, and we've been out and spoken to Sean and seen your mare, and boy, she looks terrific. What can you tell us about her?
Yeah, look, she's in fantastic order. She arrived here Wednesday night, and she tucked up a little on the flight initially, but she's let that down now, and she's we're wrapped with her. We're hoping we've got the right race too. It just looks a good race for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any
you
chance we
spoke
could just
about
tune down
how
the
she's
clock?
travelled and things. The boys are just talking about just where she is in the market. You know, there's a lot of respect for her, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. She opened a loose favourite initially, and she's just drifted out a little bit. But I think she'll be okay on the hard track. We're obviously expecting the sun to burn the track a bit today, so hopefully they'll pour a bit of water on it. But she'll be right on firm ground, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, boys, 33 degrees here today by all accounts. And on that, how will she cope?
Yeah, she'll be fine. Look, she's a funny little mare. She can have a bit of a dance around sometimes, but she never sweats. So we'll take that as a good sign, and hopefully the James McDonald factor can kick in.
Yeah, and obviously the bookies there, Sean. You know, I guess Sir Peter would like a bet on his New Zealand TAB account. You reckon you could ask for a little bit more?
Yeah, why not? Let him have something on for sure. It'll be a good day. We've got a few Kiwis going around, so we've got a few to cheer home anyway. But no, it'd be great to see James and Sir Peter, they're great mates, of course, get the job done for us.
Yeah, well, we know you guys can sharpen your pencil a little bit there.
Very good, Aidan. Yeah, look, I'll see what we can do. Steve, you've got a question you need to ask Sean while he's there?
Yeah, just looking to open the Zabeel Classic, Sean. Good morning to you and Aidan. Pearl of Alsace, post this race on Saturday, do we have a plan? Does she come back to New Zealand and maybe target a Zabeel Classic over Christmas, New Year?
Okay, Sean, not on comms, I will ask. So the question is, Stephen, what do you do after the matriarch? What do you head back to? They were a little bit worried about their futures market around Zabeel Classic, but I think you're thinking maybe Trentham?
Yeah, look, she's got a fine record at Trentham. Obviously, depending how she'll travel home. I talk regularly with Gary and Sir Peter regarding her program and progress. So, if she takes this a little hard and she comes back on the flight, we'll back off and perhaps a race like the Thornton Mile. If she comes through it extremely well, we'll consider a race like the Captain Cook Stakes. But I think the Thornton Mile should be well handicapped in because she gets, I think, a kilo off the minimum, and that'd be a great race for her.
What's she at, boys, in that Captain Cook Stakes? You got her out a little bit at the moment, not expecting her to run?
I think last time I checked, she was roughly around that $6, $7, $8 price. We actually drifted her by 2 points on the back of seeing her over in Australia. So,
Sean's just saying he's got a little word for you.
I should just wind her out a little bit more. I might go and give her another brush and an extra feed.
Yeah, here we go. I can see a stitch up coming here. Look, thanks, Sean. Good luck on Saturday. We know she'll represent us well. She's a very talented staying mare, and she'll run very, very well indeed. Aidan, are you getting a break anytime soon? What are your plans?
I get to come home. The boys are just saying all the best for Saturday, so you better reply to that first.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. We've got a good team of Kiwis over here, so hopefully we can get a few of us up.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, this is the final day, and what a way to finish up, boys. I head home on Sunday, but to go around and have these 5 Kiwi horses and bona fide chances, really top class gallopers in these feature races, and wouldn't it be great to see us pick off a couple of Group 1s and maybe a couple of Group 2s just to finish up and just fly the Kiwi flag really proudly on the last day.
100%. Thanks, Aidan. Thank you, Sean, for joining us on the League Up.
Settled in as well as Aidan here. I think we're going to have a big day on Saturday.
Jeez, lucky he's got no comms in, boys, I tell you.
Yeah. Thank you, Aidan. Yeah, exactly. Gee, what a great traveller he's been, Aidan Rodley, and some of that content that he's been sending back has been sensational. Thanks, Aidan. Thanks, Sean, for joining us, and good luck to everyone, all the Kiwi connections over there on Saturday at Flemington. Righto, BP, back to you. Time for your Maiden of the Week.
Boy, we had a luxury here for the Maiden of the Week, did we not? I think there is a number of notable mentions before we even actually get to our Maiden of the Week. We could have gone with Zab, Manzor, Grangalo, About Time, Dajida, Egyptian Queen, Tanganayika, or Shoes. They were all the horses I think that could have been easily in for our Maiden of the Week. Sometimes when you do struggle for one, you wish that you have some of these horses out for that Maiden of the Week. But we'll go to the very first race on Saturday, and this was won by a horse by the name of December. Now, of course, Stephen did make this horse his bet of the week as well. He's looked very good through his trials, and didn't he deliver? This is a horse that I'm very keen to keep some tabs on here. The son of Sham Express sat off them, did Sam Weatherly, and he made that right call just to wait and hunt up that rail, up that fresh ground for the very first race. on the program. He looks to be a very nice horse in the making, and could Roger James and Robert Wellwood have themselves a good horse to look forward to once again, because, boys, off the back of that performance, he does look like a type that can go on with it.
Are those numbers correct, Stephen? Plus 4.6 lengths above par?
Yeah, 100%. To the 600, last 600, that's compared to open class, but that overall figure, the class rating, was 4.6 lengths above maiden class and comfortably sits prior to yesterday's meeting in the top 5 easily in terms of maiden victory thus far this season, December. And look, they paid a bit of money and they're ready to run, 280k for the individual by Sham Express, a 3-year-old gelding, and maybe a live-in classic potentially, and we know that's moved from March to mid-Jan, so that could be a race on the near horizon for him. And just weighing up what December produced versus Anera, who was in the prior race on the same day, and over the same trip, it rated 4.6 lengths superior to Onera, and Onera we know is already black type performed as a 3-year-old filly, so some nice reference around there.
Okay. Yeah, it's the one to follow. As BP said, there were many we could have had a choice of a maiden of the week, but December was the one. Steve, let's head to Riccarton. It's obviously 2000 Guineas Day, Starter Cup week, massive day. What track and conditions are we going to strike down there?
Well, the key is it's in the true position. It's a soft 6 currently. There's little rains forecasted. You see it's fine today and fine tomorrow. So I expect an upgrade from the soft 6 currently in terms of a pentrometer reading. The last 4 or 5 meetings at Riccarton, they've had the rail out 7 to 8 metres. You have to go back to Grand National Week where the rail was in the true position, where it's found on Saturday. So there's a nice fresh strip of grass from about the rail to 6-7 metres out. So I presume it will be playing up and in for day 1 in terms of early days on race 1. Yeah, but I'm looking for an upgrade there in terms of a pentrometer reading, currently a 6.
Okay, that's exciting. Let's head to the main race of the day. It's race number 9 on the card. It's obviously the 2000 Guineas. Well, what can you say? Run us through this market, Steve.
Yeah, Crescetti, back to the exclusion of all others, $1.45 and holds 70% of total turnover. So punters definitely not put off by the deep in the red quote, $1.45 as I mentioned. That's the original quote, yet to be moved in or out, but as I say, clearly the best back runner in front of Burn to Shine. So you're seeing all these other horses at double figure quotes: Burn to Shine, Trobion, Bozo, $12 each of 3, and Lantern Way, $15 with Solidify. Solidify has been the best back runner in that middle market. Taliska, 16 out, a couple rolls to 18, and best of the rest is To Catch a Thief, also $18. But Crescetti, all the rage at $1.45.
Yeah, okay, it's an odd looking market, BP, but odd for a reason. We could have picked any one of 5 races for Crescetti. Here's the Sarton handicap with To Catch a Thief and Solidify in behind.
Yeah, and this is where you'd imagine likely to see him as well because of his barrier draw. He has got that opportunity of sitting where he's comfortable, and that's in on his speed. And look, it's a race where you'd imagine they will find their positions pretty comfortably after the first couple of 100 metres, really. And yes, he goes to 1,600 metres for the first time, but the way that he's got away from them, and he's maintained Lupo Solitario, it was look, doing its best work to get in front of Catch a Thief late, but he was holding them. He was holding those horses all the way down the straight over 1,400 metres to say that 1,600 metres looks to be no problem for him whatsoever. Yes, travelling down south, yeah, a new track, 1,600 metres, they're always going to be the red flags for any horse heading towards the 2000 Guineas. But what has he done? He has just shown his pure class, and he is the number 1 3-year-old heading into the race, and that's why he's as short as he is. He's also aided by the fact he's got the number 1 jockey aboard him, Warren Kennedy. I mean, he is seeing it so good at the moment, Warren Kennedy. Used to had a little issue out of Taupo yesterday where he didn't complete the rest of his riding engagements, but he is a jockey that's so in form. I guess the key with that race as well, lads, just before we move away from Crescetti, is the horse who finished in the minor money there into Catch a Thief. Very likely of trying to get a similar position for him. He becomes a top 3, top 4 chance if he gets that same sort of run where he can be back on the rail, doing no work and trying to do its best work at the end of the race. He is a sneaky for the multiples and behind To Catch a Thief if he gets a similar run.
He's honest, To Catch a Thief, BP. Does he deserve it of some black type? Just keeps running good races, doesn't he?
keeps running third. I mean, he's had 8 starts for 7 thirds, which is incredible, isn't it? And he has run some very good thirds in some high-quality 2-year-old races, and already this season as a 3-year-old. So, yep, if the 145 doesn't turn you on, or if you're looking for other options, or you're hoping for a boost, or you're looking for exactors or power plays, maybe that's the way to try and play it around Crescetti for the 2,000 guineas.
Yeah, okay, 100%. A word on Crescetti, but before we go to the Water Crease, Steve?
Well, look, he's the horse to beat. He's hard to tip against from what he's done numbers-wise. He maps perfectly. I think he probably leads here. The 2 horses in terms of the speed map that are intriguing is Balzano and Taliska. I think Taliska, they'd ideally want to be in that second outer position, and also Balzano. So there might be a fight between that position, the first furlong or 2, who sits outside Crescetti. But I do have Crescetti leading unless one of those 2 go forward and rather take a sit back into that 3rd slot. But like I say, he brings the highest performance rating of 97.8. In terms of where that sits to the next best is Burn to Shine, with performance rating 88.9. So it's roughly around about 9 or 10 rating points on my numbers, which in terms of lengths is roughly around about 4 lengths superior, Crescetti. So look, the question mark, if he comes back to the pack, is the 1,600 metres. But we're relying probably on a strong tempo to try and find him out there. Whether he gets that against him remains to be seen, and will probably know until maybe race day. In terms of Crescetti, I want to go back to PP. Where do we see Crescetti post this race? Because I believe win, lose or draw, I don't see him as a miler, but class may get him over the line. We've seen that previously with Darcy Brahma, who wasn't a miler, got the job done purely on a class ability versus rivals that season. Extravagant comes to mind, a horse that was not a miler and did the job at elite level over a sprinting trip. Crescetti, I'd love to see this horse freshen up, go to an Almanzor on a Karaka Million night, that 3-year-old 1,200 metre race, and take on the older sprinters in the Waikato Sprint, a 3-year-old. Basically similar to what Extravagant did a few years ago. We look at Imperatriz, and we also look at Levante, who has been retired, and obviously Imperatriz doing her trade in Australia. There is a bit of a hole in the top line of our sprinters here. Could we see a 3-year-old like Crescetti do that later in the season, BP?
Maybe. I mean, look, he's had a big campaign to now, so he's a horse that's reaching his grand final on the weekend, and maybe they could be the type of options. And it's really dependent on how he goes in this race, I guess, too, isn't it? At the 1,600 metres of do they keep pushing forward with him to get to those mile races, or do they come back and look towards those 1,200 and 1,400 metre features? I think, really, to be honest with you, that all options are on the table right now until we actually see him, performing and as many would think, winning this race to them before talking about those type of races. But yes, being at Te Rapa in a race like there was the BCD Group Sprint, it could be a race that very much might be on his radar over 1,400 metres. Yeah, that's good chat.
Okay, let's have a look at the Water Crease Stakes, because this is the other form line we really have to just sort of knuckle into, and there's 3 very good contenders. That trifecta this race, BP, and Burn to Shine's been doing nothing wrong. Lantern Way's won a Hawke's Bay Guineas, and obviously Trobriand's been running very well down there as well.
Yeah, look, I respect all 3 runners here, and because of Burn to Shine winning the race, he is drawn well. He can be a place getter in the race. I think all 3 of these horses actually are major contenders for running in behind Crescetti, and look, if they get the right run and he doesn't turn up and he's not at his A game, look, I think one of these 3 could actually win the race if they're in that right spot. Look, Trobriand's a horse who, as we've seen already, has a winner, beating Bozo 2 starts ago and then performed there running into second position. I actually really like Lantern Way's run in that race. I was on, but it was a horse who did extra work in that race and still was very good to finish into 3rd position. And we know that just a little bit of forgiveness in the ground is going to be helpful for him. Just having that bit of moisture there is going to help him out with that track condition and that soft 6 bracket. I just feel as though he just needs a little bit of forgiveness there to help him. He can go on top of the ground, don't get me wrong, but I just feel as though in that 6 bracket is a bit of a sweet spot for him. So I give him a huge chance, the Hawke's Bay Guineas winner Lantern Way, off the way he's run there over 1,600 metres, so he's run out a trip, he's covered a lot of extra ground. I'm looking for top 3, top 4 markets around Lantern Way, and potentially some sort of power play where there's a Crescetti, Lantern Way, top 3/top 4 sort of market.
Okay, let's go to Trentham, Steve. Bozo and Danjuro. Bozo, the filly, contesting the race, and Danjuro, light preparation, but looks a horse with some ability.
First on the winner, Bozo, you just got to respect the stable, Kevin Myers, to line up against Crescetti and the boys. And all account, if he pulls or she pulls out well out of the 2,000 guineas, she'll progress on to the 1,000 guineas 7 days later. But look, her performance rating at Trentham this day is comparable to Burn to Shine, which is second ranked behind Crescetti. But on that score, she still needs to improve 4 lengths. But I think she's probably got a sense of timing more around the boys in this race. I just feel the 1,600 metres is going to be right in her wheelhouse. I've spoken in previous weeks how I just feel she's an Oaks horse as we head into the autumn. But in the more immediate future, 1,600 metres for Bozo, I just feel it is a real sense of timing, and she's probably got more improvement, significant improvement, from her last start to where she sits on Saturday afternoon, Bozo. With Danjero, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he's right up with the best 3-year-olds in the autumn, but my gut's telling me that this race might have come up a fraction too soon. It's all just raw ability. You see him there in the straight, the big open space at Trentham. He was looking around at the grandstand, etc. And I'm just not sure the penny's quite dropped, which you need to be beating the likes of Crescetti on a Group 1 event. So no doubting his ability, Danjero. And Barrier 2 could be a bit sticky for a big horse, still learning his craft. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if he finished in the first half of the field. But I'm really looking forward to the source in the autumn.
Okay, and Taliska's the other one we need to have a look at. BP winning at Ashburton, the second stringer from Tiakau. Is he?
Well, look, he's got himself into form, and the thing is that they have taken that different approach with him, like they do so often. They get them down there early. They get the horses settled into Christchurch, and they just pick off what they need to do. So this horse was able to win on the synthetic, got things rolling for the preparation. That was in the end of August, and then was able to find a right race again, rating 65, beat Betty Spaghetti. That's a nice horse. And then following that, one here on a heavy 8 surface by just been ridden like the best horse. So they come in with the right form. They've been in Christchurch for a good period of time, and Tiakau have done that a number of years, where not just talking about horses that have won the 2,000 guineas, but have run really well because they've been based out of Christchurch. Now the barrier draw is interesting, and you spoke about those 2 horses, Stephen, about this run and Balzano looking to be put into the race. Do they look to try and ride against the favourite as well at all here, or do you feel as though that there's their best chance to try and really put some pressure on Crescetti, which look probably was going to undo them? But is that one fear you have with both of those runners, or do you just feel as though they're just going to be looking for their spots so they can run their own race?
Well, I think there's an opportunity where one of them might take on Crescetti purely because I think they map second out of both of them. So it's out of Balzano and Taliska which one gets there first. Balzano, who's drawn inside gate, has the advantage. So Taliska, if there's no room for a one out, one back, then he might look to push forward and go right across and find the paint, and that ignites a bit of heat in the first furlong or two naturally. So, and that brings the favourite Crescetti taking the trail spot. Now, it's not doom and gloom. We know it's a big open space, Riccarton, and he should have plenty of opportunity, Warren Kennedy, to find his spot to make a run at the top of the straight, even if he's trailing. We've seen Crescetti trail in previous races. I think 2 starts back at Te Rapa, he found himself in that spot and finished underneath them and got the job done. So, but what we want is we don't want the race to be run at a heck of speed,
No.
but at least maybe even tempo, and that gives all rivals their best chance if they're good enough to beat Crescetti.
Okay, before we get back to BP for his selections, what do we like behind Crescetti? Or you've got no concerns about Crescetti over the mile, obviously?
I don't think so, no. It's hard to tip against him, $1.45. I think with exotic bet types, Bozo, I just think she's crying out for 1,600. An astute stable. It's improving significantly race by race. I think Kevin was eyeing this race when this horse won on Grand National Day, albeit on a heavy track. You look at the pedigree, she's out of a high shat mare. The dam happens to be a half to an Irish Oaks winner, so she's got the pedigree to be something special, Bozo. So I'm definitely including her in exotic bet types. And Burn to Shine, he's the map horse. He gets one out, one back. He can just chill out, let the 2 or 3 in front who have drawn wider unfold, put that early heat on, which we're hoping to make it a true run race. But I think Burn to Shine and Bozo are the 2 I want to put in exotic bet types.
Okay, BP, it's a nice power play race, potentially. The 2,000 guineas, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, well, look, with Crescetti, if you just took Crescetti out, for instance, maybe you could, there's another market, you could do a favourites out market, because the rest here are actually a very even bunch of 3-year-olds in this race when you look beyond Crescetti. You look at that particular form reference out of the Water Cree. Solidify, look, we probably haven't mentioned him yet. I mean, he's run 5th last time to the races behind Crescetti. What I like about him is he gets his toe in the ground, big wide open spances of 1,600 metres at Riccarton. Look, he becomes a prospect in the race. John Wheeler's rolled the dice with his maiden galloper and Herbert. So they're very even horses, the other 10 runners behind the $1.45 favourite. Yep, maybe the power play line is the way to go. Stevens mentioned Baron Bozo. I think To Catch a Thief just might be that horse who could run third again. He just looks like he's got an opportunity of getting a sweet run in the race, just tucking him behind. Lantern Ways is one of those other runners I'm keen to have a look at as well and around Crescetti. But he looks hard to beat. He's the one who comes with all the rock-solid form, and he deserves to be 145 Crescetti.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line.
Lance O'Sullivan award time. Who took out your ride of the week this week, BP?
Look, I'm going to go to Tauranga race number 2 last Saturday, and it's great to have him back in the riding ranks, and his name is Matthew Cameron. He rode Onera in the second race on the program, and all inside horses wanted to go forward. Now, as you can see here, Matthew is looking to his right, because I'm sure they were looking to get into that outside leader position. Just pulled away from that before getting to that first bend because there was so much pressure. They're all running in lanes into that first bend. So he gets away from that, tucks him behind, settles the horse last. She gets into a good rhythm there, and then she just powers over the top, and she's just too good. I mean, that is a really good assessment of plan A was to get forward an outside leader, and then just went, okay, hang on, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to have to pull back here, get him behind horses. I'm still on the best horse. I just don't want to overcook it. And got it bang on. It was a really good ride from Matthew Cameron on the short price favourite aboard Onera. So make that the Lance O'Sullivan ride of the week from Matthew Cameron.
Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free.
Yeah, great to have Matthew Cameron back in a great ride. Split second decision making's the key, and he got back and did the job on Onera. A hard time. Right, no Paul Mawadi, but I've picked something out for the week, and it wasn't that hard to find. Sulcombe, the boys have highlighted it for us. Has a tendency to do this, no surprise. They took the blinkers off. Joe Moreira missed it, and then Rump Stake all the way up the straight. Was following the winner at the 600 metre mark, got off without a fight's back, and then had to pick a path back towards the inside. Sulcombe, would it have beaten without a fight? Well, arguably, maybe not, but boy, oh boy, it would have finished incredibly close. Been a lot of chat about Joe Moreira's ride there, Steve, on Sulcombe. Wasn't probably, it's a little, the horse has a tendency to do that, but if you were on, it was a bit of an ugly watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in full detail in terms of where it was presented, the 600 metre mark, but look, we knew Sulcombe, that's its trend, missing the start by 2, 3, 4 plus lengths, and it did the same on Tuesday. So you've got to assess that when you're taking a bet on a horse like that. Would have it won? I don't think so. But yeah, look, I haven't watched a race enough times, in particular Sulcombe, but look, I think punters, they've done their money, but he's a very good horse. And when he learns to jump with them, he's with the Chris Waller stable, which I'm sure they'll try and iron out between now and 12 months' time. But look, there's no doubt he's got ability.
Okay, let's head to the Pegasus. It's race number, let me get this right. Head to the Pegasus, race number 5. Thank you on the card. Oh, we'll get there. And we've got a well-back favourite here, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm wonderful tonight. 380 we posted on Wednesday. It's been shaved into 250. Accounts for 60% of the hold. The 5-year-old mare by I'm Invincible. In front of Not Guilty at $6. Shares that second line with on the bubbles, 650 into 6. So another firmer there. Maria Farina. First up for the Weatherly team, 550 out of 4 point to 6.5. Then you've got the second division, Lincoln's Cruise, the defending champ, 13 out to 15. Shala, 14 out to 18. And Raffle, best of the rest at 21. So 2 firmers here, including the favourite, which I've always already announced, and now a pronounced favourite, 2.5. And on the bubbles, just in a slight turn, 650 into 6.
Yeah, okay, BP. Interesting race, always the Pegasus with an eye potentially to the stewards on the last day. Plenty of chances, as you would expect. I think it's Not Guilty at Hawke's Bay that we're going to have a look at first, but a competitive Pegasus.
Look, it is, and we know that they're going to go quick over 1,000 metres, and Not Guilty was one of those horses that was up on speed in the spring sprint at Hawke's Bay, and of course it was all about these horses that were, sitting pretty close to speed because they were the ones that dominated the race and the others didn't have a chance whatsoever. So our alley cat just sat away from it and pounced on Not Guilty, and look, she's done a good job. She's been able to fight on to finish into second position. Lily Sutherland takes the ride for Saturday's race, and with it being down the chute over 1,000 metres, it's going to be an intriguing race with a lot of horses who can just find their way to the top. Does it set up for a horse who can be that late closer? Can it set up for a race like Maria Farina, who we know has a devastating turn of foot late over 1,000 metres if that's a horse that gets the cold shot? So that could be the key to Saturday's race, or is it just a case that they're going to be running flat out and say, catch me if you can? But I'm very, very intrigued to see the horse at the bottom of the book, because she created such an incredible impression for me out of Te Rapa, and I'm wonderful tonight that they've decided to go from a rating 65 to stakes level and test the water. And why not, Stephen, of how she won this?
It's an intriguing mare. She came over here from Australia having a handful of starts. Windsor Park obviously owner and tracing some vital black type. She's been nominated for a railway during the week. Now this is rating 65 and she rated through the roof. To the 600, last 600, that's based on open class, and the class rating was well above par. So look, you've got to trust the eye. She's won by a big margin and the form's been franked. You look at the second horse, Screaming Eagle, Doddle, Kiva Han, have all been sub-winners since this race a few weeks ago, which is stacking up. She maps perfectly, just off that hot tempo. I think from that ideal draw, she can sit just forward of midfield, make a move just before the turn over 1,000 metres, and she's going to be awfully hard to beat. She's a really progressive sprinter in the making, this favourite.
Okay, very impressive. Let's have a quick look at On the Bubbles winning though. Good to see On the Bubbles back into the winner's circle. BP, we know how talented this horse is.
Yeah, Group 1 performer. But I wish I won, didn't it? Not in a size produce stakes a long time ago. And look, he's rediscovered his form, hasn't he, on the Bubbles? He's a runner that has been very good, I thought, this campaign, because the first up run out of Taupo, if we all remember, he went stone cold in the market and he went back and he finished into third position, then was beaten in behind Johnny. And this was a really good win, and because the horse had to cover a lot of extra ground, and he just kept on fighting. So he's drawn out. It'd be interesting. He's one of those horses I'm keen to see what they want to do with him. Do they roll forward, or do they just try and tuck him and get into that sort of 3-4 wide? As we know, with it being down the chute, you can sort of be 4-5 wide with cover over 1,000 metres. He could be devastating late on the Bubble. So he's respected in the market at around $6.50. If they do go really mad up front, and he is the horse that can get the right sort of cover, if they ride him that way, of course, he could be the one finishing over the top. But yeah, I've liked what I saw from him. There was a gutsy run last time out of Ashburton on a track condition that was rated a good 3. He likes being on top of the ground. We know that seems to be at his absolute best. And I guess the watch on track condition too, boys, because it is sitting around that soft 6 bracket as we do the show today, Friday morning, to see where it might sit. It should sit in a pretty good spot, you'd imagine, by the time we get to race day.
Yeah, for sure. A bit of a jump here, Steve, in this market, out from the top 4 here, and that include Maria Farina and that, out to the likes of Lincoln's Cruise, Charla, Raffle, Beat Dance Arena. Anything down the page there that you've got your eye on? Or?
Lincoln's Cruise, you go back 12 months ago, won this race, and the similarities between where it sits and weights, etc., is almost identical. 53 kilograms, which it carried 12 months ago when winning at a high SP, and it sits in a similar market in terms of a price, $18. I think it SP'd at $16, $17 last year when winning this race. What I'll be doing is just keeping an eye how it presents, and I'll be keen on Matt Cross's comments around Lincoln's Cruise, who's second up, which it was when it won the race last year as well, second up. I just want to see how it presents on the back of travelling down there. It can be a horse that can be a little bit unsettled prior to race. So I'll be keen to hear Matt Cross's comments around Lincoln's Cruise. Maria Farina, pretty keen on this horse if it backs up 7 days later over the 1,200 metres.
It's the second day for me.
There's no money on it. I'm keen in the stewards on this race. I'll be keeping an eye on what it does over 1,000. But you go back to last preparation. Now, it backed up once last prep on a 7-day backup, and it won the Lightning at Trentham. So I reckon that's the grand
Second
final
up
over the
record's
carnival.
good too. Two wins from 3. I reckon you're onto it there.
So, and maybe Spartan. Spartan, look, it's only had the handful of starts, Spartan. It's drawn barrier 10, but it went very quick to the 600 when leading last start. I think it was 34 and change. Still had the audacity to hang on and fight off its rivals. It will go forward. It'll be in the first 2 or 3 in running. I know it's at a very high SP, Spartan, but it's a progressive sprinter and it might run above our betting expectation.
Okay, BP, final thoughts on the Pegasus. How are we attacking it? Can you get away from the fave and a well-backed fave?
Yeah, look, I think maybe the price is gone in terms of where she sits now. I've got her as my top pick in the race. Beep Beep's an interesting horse too. Now, this is a horse who really pushed Johnny in that race last time out at Te Rapa, and he's becoming a line in the sand in terms of sprint races as well. She was very much trying to chase him down late, and she got close. Barrier draws an issue. Yes, it's going to be down to trying to find that right position again, a little bit like on the bubbles if they're looking for cover, to try to be 4-5 wide with cover. So, look, I keep coming back to I'm Wonderful tonight. This looks to be a great target race, first of all, for black type, and then looking ahead to 7 days later when it comes to the stewards.
Gee, plenty of racing over the last 7 days, and Over's God's been a little bit tough. There've been some hard luck stories, a lot of seconds as we go to the thing. Part-Time Lover. Now, this was running into second behind Brendan's Maiden of the Week and Steve's Best Bet of the Week in December. Just go and watch Part-Time Lover, hit the line 13 into 750, unfortunately second. Mercurial at second, 450 into 270. Manrico, congratulations to those who found Manrico, 21 into 13. Pizzazz, 11 into 480, another second. Princessa, I think that is, 10 into 550. Oh no, Princess, my apologies, 10 into 550. Complicate, 10 into $4.20 and another second. Down to Trentham, Black All Off was a success, 12 into 650, but Puntura had no luck. And Queen of Spades, 10 into $5 was 10th. Off to Melbourne Cup Day, Pukekohe, About Time. Got the job done. Warren Kennedy and Cambridge Stud had a big day there, 10 into $6. Lance Noble as well. Wallen, 650 into 350 second. Burgundy, 14 into 7s and 5th. Down to Wingatui, they had some success with Rhonda Wood. 750 into $4. Here's a decent move. This horse has been backed off the mat both starts of its career. Harker Decree unfortunately ran into Babizier. 450 for the Ray Williams team. 450 into 220 was Harker Decree. And our Clary, this is a big move for second, 18 into $7. So there's some hard luck stories there with Over's Gods. Hopefully a little bit more luck this week. Righto, guys. Metropolitan is race number 7 on the card. The Stayers event leading into a New Zealand Cup, Steve, and our well-backed favourite here. Run us through this market.
Yeah, and again, a well-backed favourite, as you touched on, Thaddeus, just like the 2 previous races we've previewed thus far on the show. But Nest Egg, 450 into $4. Second line Preserve at $7, Prince Albie at $8.50, Mezzabine at $9. Double figures around Charm Star, just gone out of turn there, 9 out to 10. LJ, $11, the defending New Zealand Cup winner. In My Shadow Tonight, $11 out 1 roll there. Just looking in the middle market, it's very static. There's been little interest overall outside the fave with Nest Egg at a $4 quote.
Yeah, okay, Nest Egg got the job done last time at Te Rapa BP and looks right on track for the New Zealand Cup in 7 days' time or 8 days' time.
Look, he does, and he's a horse. I know that he has been tricky to find at times, hasn't he? Nest Egg, he's always been one of those horses constantly running on. Next start, and it was well ridden last time to the races by Warren Kennedy. Just assessed it beautifully, didn't he? Got going at the right time with the way that race was developing, and that was the winning move when the horse did win last time out of Te Rapa. So now going up to 26 and then looking ahead to 3,200 metres. Look, he certainly does look to be the one as we get towards that New Zealand Cup, whereas he's $6 favourite in the New Zealand Cup market with LJ, the defending champ, who currently sits at $8. So we might have that futures market there for you around the New Zealand Cup, and here it is for you. So Nest Egg, $6, LJ $8, You Are a Star sits at $8. I'm sort of looking down a little bit further here. I thought Wasaki was actually a decent cup trial the other week too, sits at $10. Mahajan running number 32 there at around $18. I'm really looking forward to seeing this horse tomorrow over 2,600 metres and then going further. It does get a cushy draw and can be a prospect of maybe being a bit of a roughie towards the New Zealand Cup. But look, I think with what we've seen so far, Nestieg is the deserved favourite with how he won, because he was so good last time, and it looks like they've got their preparation bang on the mark, boys.
Yeah, 100%. Let's have a look at another form line with Charm Star and Pro Serve Glorified and Taimari Diva, Steve, at Riccarton in an open handicap. Any of these contenders? Good to see Charm Star sort of showing a little bit.
Yeah, they went extremely slow to the 600 and they've come home okay over 2,000 metres. Class rating, no real concern to what the form is leading into this race in different directions, different form lines. But Preserve, I've got a question mark over Preserve over a strong 2,600 metres, but I suppose you've got to respect the stable. Matt Scott, the winner there, isn't lining up in the Metropolitan. I'll probably look for 2,000, 1,600 metre events for that winner. But look, Charm Star, always reliable. A lot of those horses, it's hard to gauge how forward they'll be or how screwed down they'll be, knowing that the grand final's in 7 days' time. So, look, there's one horse I'm fairly keen on that's not nominated for New Zealand Cup. Progressive horse, a rating 65 win last start, and we'll have a look at the video. And Mahazabin, look, she was good enough to place in an Oaks last year, Thaddeus. Now, look at the speed rating. I'm going to trust the eye. The speed rating was okay. It was no real knock in terms of progressing to 75 grade. But look, it's got to take the big step up. But look at the overall race shape. To the 600, they've almost crawled. Almost 30 lengths below standard to open class to the 600. They've come home really quick. So, look, she's had to sprint some really good sectionals, pierce that through that late gap there in the last 50 to 75 metres. Look, she's broken 33 and change, well, she's run 33 and change to her last 600 and has broken 11 seconds to her last 200. So she has the ability to run closing sectionals that might be as strong as any in the race. And I think she can provide that even off an even tempo. The concern, BP, I look at the speed map. Oh, where's the speed? It's incredible. Look, JZB or what's
JBJ.
JBJ. They've been going back JBG. They've been going back the last two starts, trying to, I'd say, look to progress this horse to 2 miles, which we know is next Saturday. But do they go back again, trying to get this horse to get over ground? Its optimum trip in 7 days' time. Well, I just can't see, if that horse doesn't lead, Taimari Diva, maybe the default leader, but outside that, there's just no speed in this race. And going back to knowing that this is the grand final in 7 days' time, where is the intent going to be for horses that have that race at the back of their mind in the New Zealand Cup? I just see no speed whatsoever.
Yeah, and look, it just might be down to those horses that draw low over 2,600 metres, where they just could find themselves there, to be honest with you. Look, even Maharajan is a runner that's drawn in barrier number 3, a likelihood of maybe just taking a position and finding itself there. Charm Star's drawn out wide, so you'd imagine that they'll be looking to try and come for some cover. They drew low last time out and found a position where they were tucked in behind the leader. That's problematic for the race, isn't it? Especially if you're looking to try and be on something that's going to be finishing over the top. I was actually with Mahazabin as well because of their performance last time out, how good the horse was leading up towards the New Zealand Oaks. Just looks to be a good prospect in the race. And this is always a curly race, isn't it, because of what's coming up, and that being the grand goal for everybody here that's looking at this race anyway, that wants to be there over 3,200 metres in a New Zealand Cup. So I always find these type of races a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you. Look, this is Nestieg, and maybe just the way that Nestieg's racing, he's racing in that right sort of form, that he's going to find himself in the New Zealand Cup as a right real chance. But I do like the Richie Murray horse and Maharajan. I just believe that 3,200 metres is going to be his friend when he gets to that race next week. So yes, it may not be about tomorrow, about trying to find the winner of tomorrow's race, but he could run a really good race in terms of a top 4 tomorrow and then set him up for the weekend. So yeah, I'm going to have something on him at $18 in the futures market. I just feel as though if he runs that right sort of race, he could be, I don't know, a $9, $10 chance come next Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Before we head to Te Rapa, Steve, I think there's going to be a double, isn't there? You'll be able to have a Metropolitan New Zealand Cup double. That will be open at some point today.
Yeah, I think the team downstairs are going to open a mark at some stage today. But yeah, maybe with Nest Egg they do a similar ride to what it unfolded to Rapa. If there's no if there's a lack of speed up front, they make a mid-race move, and we see Nest Egg leading at roughly around the 600 metre mark. But pretty keen on Mazabine, just the progressive nature around the 3-year-old.
Yeah, okay, and not nom for a New Zealand Cup. No.
Not nom, so this is obviously its grand final in terms of the Cup Carnival.
Okay, let's head to Te Rapa. There's one race we want to have a look at, Steve, but before we get to the Legacy Lodge Sprint, what about track conditions and weather?
Yeah, track conditions look pretty good at Te Rapa. Fine, soft 5. Look, again, I expect an upgrade throughout the day, possibly a 4 when that happens. Remains to be seen. Rail out 8 metres, but look, I think it should present as a very good track and a fair track.
Okay, race number 6 on the card is the Legacy Lodge Sprint, and we see the return of a Group 1 performer, a very good Group 1 performer, but not a Group 1 winner yet.
No, yet. Babylon Berlin, first up here for the foot stable, $240. That's its opening original price on Wednesday, and clearly the best runner, Babylon Berlin, so punters not put off by the opening quote. Wolverine Maiden Bell. Now, here's 2 stablemates who present first up out of the Te Akau barn. On money, if there was a lead, it sits clearly with number 4 on Wolverine. Opened at $5.50, been backed into $4.50, where Maven Bell opened at $4.20, eased back out to $4.80. Lincoln Lady in that 4th line at $10, Arish at $12, with Jodlin Gal, Petrucci at $14, Sassy Merlot best at the rest at 18, but Babylon Berlin heads a market at 2.4.
Okay, intriguing little race, BP. Good to see all these performers back, and a lot of them first up, so there's trials to pour through, and we want to start with obviously our favourite and very good mare in Babylon Berlin.
Yeah, I think this could be Babylon Berlin's season, and I'm sure they're thinking that, because with Levante and Imperatriz not about, it doesn't always work like that. Of course, we know that, but they must be thinking that this is really our opportunity to try and cash in on that. And that's going to be down to what that next wave of sprint is going to be like in behind her as well. And we'll find out more out of this race, and you know how much more competitive can Johnny be in these type of races as well, going forward to races like the Counties Bowl and then pushing into our summer Group 1 sprint races. So this could be her time. It really could be, and I hope it is, because she's been immense, really, hasn't she? Behind Levante, look how she pushed Imperatriz. What was it, in a railway out of Te Rapa? She got so close in those particular races that. And it doesn't work like that, and there's no fairy tales in racing and all those sorts of things, and nobody's deserved of winning races. But this is one horse that, well, on what she's shown in her last couple of seasons, that she's bumped into some absolute guns, that maybe she gets her opportunity. The comeback horse of Wolverine is an interesting story, isn't it? I mean, she is a runner that we saw here as a 2-year-old. She was dazzling. She went across to Tasman. Now she's back, and off the back of this trial, she is going to be worthy of watching this season. I really do believe that, and I can see why the money has come for Wolverine. I am very, very much mindful of what she might be able to do this season, lads. I think she's a distinct danger to the favourite. I do like Babylon Berlin to win, but I do feel as though Wolverine can run one heck of a race tomorrow.
It was nice on the ice, Steve. Good to see Wolverine back, and you would suggest off that will be competitive.
Yeah, look, I reckon the stable might be targeting some sprint races. Again, she's nominated for the Railway. Nominations came out during the week. Early noms market should come out tomorrow morning when it comes to that Group 1 feature, the Railway. But I think they're going to train her as a sprinter, possibly get over 1,600 metres later in the season, but just keep her fresh and target the races like the Railway over 1,200 metres. Down the chute, she could be lethal, Wolverine. Now, you look back last season when she was racing in Sydney, and also at the back end of her 3-year-old campaign in Brisbane, she was hitting 1,100 metres. But look, Te Akau, they bought her out of the broodmare sale, well, not broodmare sale, but almost a tried horse sale for big money, hoping they can bring her back here and win a Group 1. And I think she's up to it if placed accordingly. And she's out of the right stable to be doing that. She's had a hard trial there that she got going from about the 400 metre mark, finished over the top of them, so that will tune her up nicely first up over 1,200 metres at Te Rapa. And she should sit just forward of midfield. I think Maddie will use that barrier. It's a good gate from barrier 4. And look, there's going to be natural speed with Babylon Berlin. Lincoln Lady, who's drawn the outside gate, will come across and maybe sit outside Babylon Berlin, or maybe in that second position if she just can't sit out directly outside Babylon Berlin. But Look, Sassy Merlot, we saw sit outside a really hot speed last start. Behind Johnny. So again, she'll look to go forward. So naturally, they're going to go really quick to the 600 here, and I think that gives Wolverines its best chance.
Okay, and Maiden Bell's the other one we want to have a look at, BP. I think we have that trial, and we know how talented Maiden Bell is at its best.
Yeah, that's right. Beat Wolverine in a Group 1. Did Maiden Bell, of course, as a 2-year-old in the Size Produce Stakes. What's aided for her is that she's got the draw. Now, there's going to be that pressure in the race where, as you spoke about those 2 horses that you mentioned there in Babylon Berlin pushing forward and Lady Lincoln Lady being that other horse that can be up on tempo. And look, Palmer can just sit away from that, make sure that he can hold a good position and be in a position where he can strike with Maiden Bell. What's the key for her? Is being fresh up. She's electric. First up and second up. She's unbeaten in both of those roles. Is this horse in Maiden Bell, and that's got to bring her right into the race here in terms of a strong winning chance, maybe of running down the speed runners, but certainly putting herself in the reckoning to run in the top 3, top 4.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting. There's been more money for Wolverine than Maiden Bell, Steve.
Yeah, and I think the fact that there's just little money for Maiden Bell, she hasn't even been back to any degree thus far, Maiden Bell. So, look, we've had a $500 bet on Wolverine. As I mentioned, $550 peaked earlier in the week, now at $450. I think you've got to follow the money trend when it comes to a race like this, where 90% of the horses present first up on a trip that should suit most. So I'm pretty keen on Wolverine. I'm going to follow the trend there. Again, hard to tip against Babylon Berlin, but I definitely think if you've got Wolverine somewhere in the mix in terms of exotics, Quinellas, exactas, it's the way to go.
Steve's spruiking a power play, BP. It'll be nice to see Babylon Berlin return with a win.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I think what we saw from Babylon Berlin too last campaign is that she doesn't just have to go ripping to the front and try and break their hearts. And she has been able to settle a lot better in her races. And good thing too is that Courtney Barnes did have a spin round in that particular trial recently out of Te Rapa. So I can't wait to see her back. She's a ripping sprinter, and really hope that she gets her opportunity, and it kicks off here in the Legacy Lodge, the feature sprint race coming up on Saturday out of Te Rapa.
Oh yeah, indeed. 4-play time with your chance to win a $100 bonus bet multi. Go to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the leg up question, and you can win a $100 bonus bet multi on these 4 selections. The good things of the weekend. BP, where have you gone?
I've gone to the NFL on Monday morning. I'm going for the Baltimore Ravens. They look good. Lamar Jackson has basically set himself up in that first half of the season that he could be the MVP. They've been so good at home. They haven't conceded a touchdown at home in their last 2 matches. And the last time they beat the Browns, which was about a month ago, they were able to beat them by 25 points. That's who they play on Monday. I'm going the Ravens -2.5 at $1.39.
Steve, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Te Rapa race 3, the Maiden Mile. Grail Seeker, a real eye-catcher last start at Taupo, went back from a wide draw. Late sectionals were very impressive. Steps up to the 1,600 metres. And from that draw, I expect this horse to be 1 or 2 pairs closer. Hopefully no worse than midfield. Top 3 finished at $1.40.
Okay, Paulie's gone Pro S. Top 4 at $1.65 in the 2,000 metre race at Flemington. What's the race called, Steve? Do you know? The old McKinnon, is it?
Championship Stakes.
Stakes. It's $1.65. I've gone Wolverine. I'm following the money. $1.40 to run top 4 in the Legacy Lodge Sprint. That $100 bonus bet multi could return the thick end of $350. Head to the TAB Facebook page and you could be in with a chance to win. Right, our best bet time before we get out of here. But before we get to our best bets, let's have a look at how we did last week.
Let's check about this weekend. Candle, I like. And a tricky weekend, very tricky weekend.
Prioress Tanzanite Rose on the inside, kicking though. Tanzanite Rose in front. Prioress is trying to have another dig, and then Candle, but down to the line, and Tanzanite Rose too good, and Cozy at the line. Prioress, Candle, and then...
I'm going to Tauranga, race 4. It's a maiden over 1,400 metres, and I like the O'Sullivan Scott runner, The Weapon. Love the name as well.
Yeah.
The Weapon out wide as Zap Manzor dash to the lead though at the 100 from Muscovado and The Weapon, and it's Zap Manzor. Oh, that's a win. Zap Manzor will win it second. Muscovado third over was The Weapon.
You're going against the trend. I'm tipping out another debutante here. Race 1 at Tauranga, December out of the James Wellwood team.
December got the best rails run you've ever seen, and it's dashed to the lead at the 150. And the favourite's clear on debut, December. And December will win it.
Oh, at least we finished strong. Well done, Steve, with December, getting home your best bets. Room for improvement this week. BP, where'd you go?
There's room for improvement, isn't there? I'm going to go to a maiden race at Te Rapa. It's amazing. It's made its way to the foreplay, this run-up. Grail Seeker. Gee, this run was enormous out of Taupō last time to the races. It was in behind Moon Money, and it was the horse that had the big red, flashing red light on its head. Grail Seeker, drawn barrier number 1, Palmer aboard, $3.
$3. Look, I've gone Paul's, no surprise what he's gone. He picked it last time when it won, so a decent price at Te Rapa. He's sticking with Nest Egg in the Metropolitan. They put the blinkers on this day, did the business. This has been a plan from a long way out. And they're targeting New Zealand Cup, no reason. He won't be winning on Saturday. And if they do something similar with the ride, he's going to be hard to beat as Nest Egg with an eye to the New Zealand Cup in 7 days' time. Steve, your best bet?
Yeah, I'll go down to Christchurch. Midway through the program, the open sprint, the Pegasus over 1,000 metres. I'm Wonderful Tonight, already been well played. This was very impressive in winning at Te Rapa and its second start to New Zealand. The form in behind it is stacked up. There's been 3 sub-winners that finished in behind I'm Wonderful Tonight, that particular race, and it rated very, very impressively. I'm with that horse in terms of a feature down at Riccarton.
Yeah, okay. Promotions time for the weekend. Plenty to sink your teeth into, as always. Bonus back will be in operation. Here's the Grand Tour. A 1 to 6 at Riccarton. 1 to 6. If you run 2nd, 3rd or 4th, a bonus back. But that's all in conjunction with the Grand Tour. So that gets stuck in there. Races 1 to 4 at Flemington, Rosehill and Te Rapa. Bonus back 2nd, 3rd and 4th up to $50. You know the drill. And the SENZ Punters Club is something that you want to get involved in as well. Go to the website, check the link at the top of the page, invest as much money as you like, and you can follow along with SENZ right through Cup Week. They'll be getting involved, and all the updates will be on the TAB website as well. Plenty of specials, Steve, around Crescetti in a 2,000 guineas as well. I see they've got Crescetti to win by a length or more, 2 lengths or more, and the like. So get to the Crescetti specials.
Okay,
so
that's interesting. That will be very popular because I think there'll be a divided opinion on Crescetti, whether he gets a real strong 1,600 metres and on speed ratings he might win by 3 or 4 lengths, or there might be the opposite. A few people willing to take on Crescetti. Maybe he still wins, but maybe not as a big a margin.
Okay, let's wrap it up. There are another week on the leg up. Start a Cup Week, BP. You'll be excited. What are your movements over the next 7 days?
We're involved with Trackside Premier, so we've got our pop-up channel through Cup Week, and we'll be involved with that tomorrow with, I think, 3 o'clock kickoff for Trackside Premier. We'll be covering, of course, the racing out of Riccarton, the feature races from the back-end program of Te Rapa, and then, of course, Melbourne as well. So make sure you check that out, Trackside Premier. That'll be tomorrow, channel 64, for everything you need there just to concentrate around those race meetings. And just looking at those bonus back races as well too, lads. Race number 3 at Riccarton, if you're looking to have something at a bit of a price in a bonus back race and use that as an insurance, Sheaf, runner number 17 for Kevin Myers, is a runner that has been just running on, working home, goes to 1,600 metres in a $30,000 maiden race with Tina Komanyagi aboard. Might have something on that as a bonus back sort of horse for mine out of Riccarton tomorrow.
Oh, Kevin Myers down there at 17, nice bonus pack race. Sheaf, $8.50 currently, so very nice BP. And a massive day for the Kiwis at Flemington as well. It's exciting to have so many good mares in commission.
Well, that's right. I mean, like winning prospects, isn't it? I mean, like at the moment with what's happening with Imperatriz is really a bit of a blur, isn't it? Because this is what not normally happens, and to just have that expectation like we've had out of Moonee Valley that she's just going to rock up and win a Group 1 in Melbourne. And this is different. Yes, it is. It's going to be a different race tomorrow, but I think we all believe that she's right up to taking the race out as well. And you get that opportunity for just a little bit more meat on the bone than what you might have been chasing recently with Imperatriz. And I think that's what's going to attract punters. She's going to be one for the multis. And I think Prowess too. I think she really does run a big race coming up tomorrow also. Pearl of Alsace, Ladies Man, Mustang Valley. Look, there's a lot of Kiwi prospects here, and Opie Boston's going to be on a number of those chances too. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, exciting. You're going to have a great afternoon on Trackside Premier BP. Thanks for your efforts as always once again. Have a great weekend. We know you will. She Horse of the Year, Imperatrice? Australian Horse of the Year?
If she won on Saturday, she'd be a leading favourite. Just on this week before I shoot, Copeland's Mile final field comes out tomorrow on the back of acceptances, so look out that for tomorrow afternoon, the Copeland's Mile. It's business time, roughly a $2.30 quote when it comes to futures. The undercard will open on Sunday for that day 2 on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, BP. Thank you to you as well for joining us on the Leg Up. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Have a great weekend.